Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jai Jaya Shri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Rama Hare 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 Krishna Matyanandasya Chikshlamidamena Sneshprave Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Savidamena Bhutve Samrata Atyantaradi Swapadanti Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Dapadakamalam Shri Rupam Sakchatam Sahagana Raghunathanikam Tam Sajivam Sadhvidam Swami Harijana Satsam Krishna Chaitanya Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Krishna Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Jagate Krishna Kannada Kannada Tapatandra Lamsaura Gishirat Vrindavan Shri Anasati Devi Pranamami Sharat Best Tavasana the Evachara Pratimo Bhakti Vishnu Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishnaya Guruvai Shri Bhakti Vedanta Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Prachari Shashunivadi Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Vedanta Shri Vasudha Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Ananta Lila Mai Vighna Hare Mahāprabhu Satya Hare Krishna meeting of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Vallabha Bhaṭṭa. Who is Vallabha Bhaṭṭa? Who is Vallabha Bhaṭṭa?
Father of Jiva Goswami?
Father of Gopal Bhaṭṭa.
Gopal Bhaṭṭa, sorry.
Father of Gopal Bhaṭṭa Goswami. Jiva Goswami's father is Vallabha. Vallabha, oh, that's why you got confused. Same name, no, Vallabha. That was Vallabha or Anupam, who was the brother of Rupa and Sanatana Goswami. Okay, this is Gopal Bhaṭṭa Goswami's father is Vallabha Bhaṭṭa. It is a Bhaṭṭa that surname is there. It's a very nice pastime here. Let me offer my respectful obeisance to the devotees of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Simply by the costless first of the devotees engaging in the licking honey from his lotus feet. Even a fallen soul becomes eternally liberated. All glories to Lord Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all glories to Nityananda Prabhu, all glories to Krishna Chandra, all glories to all the devotees of Lord Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The next year, all the devotees of Bengal went to visit Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and as previously, the Lord met each and every one of them. The Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu performed his pastimes with his devotees. Then a learned scholar named Vallabha Bhaṭṭa went to Jagannath Puri to meet the Lord. When Vallabha Bhaṭṭa, so learned scholar he is, when Vallabha Bhaṭṭa arrived, he offered his obeisance at the lotus feet of the Lord, accepting him as a great devotee. The Lord embraced him. With great respect, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu seated Vallabha Bhaṭṭa near him. Then Vallabha Bhaṭṭa very humbly began to speak. For a long time, he said, I have decided to see you, my Lord. Now, Lord Jagannath fulfilled his desire, therefore I have seen. One who receives your audience is fortunate indeed, for you are the supreme personality of Godhead himself. Since one who remembers you is purified, why should it be astonishing that one becomes purified by seeing you? One can immediately purify his entire house simply by remembering exalted personality. To say nothing of directly seeing them, touching their lotus feet, washing their feet, or offering them places to sit. Just by remembering the Lord's and Srila Prabhupada, we can purify an entire house. The fundamental religious system in the age of Kali is chanting the holy name of Krishna. Unless empowered by Krishna, one cannot propagate the Sankirtan movement. Krishna Shakti Vina Dehuraha Parivartana. Kalikalera Dharma Krishna Nama Sankirtana. Krishna Shakti Vina Nehe Tara Pravartana. Krishna Shakti Vina Nahe Tara Pravartana. So unless empowered by Krishna, there is no preaching can happen. So definitely Navishya Prabhu have been empowered by Krishna. Otherwise, how is he able to propagate the Sankirtan movement, right? So anyone like that matter. So it's been like it is said empowered by Krishna. It is said Krishna Shakti Vina. If Krishna, that's what even Prabhupada said, right? It's been empowered by Krishna. Why? Otherwise, Krishna wouldn't have made this movement spread in 108 temples all over the world. We have spread the Sankirtan movement of Krishna consciousness. Therefore, it's evident that we've been empowered by Lord Krishna. There's no question about it. We have manifested the holy name of Krishna throughout the entire world. Anyone who sees you is immediately absorbed with ecstatic love of Krishna. Without being especially empowered by Krishna, one cannot manifest ecstatic love of Krishna. But Krishna is the only one who gives ecstatic love. This is the verdict of all revealed scriptures. There may be many all auspicious incarnations of personality Godhead, but who other than Lord Sri Krishna can bestow love of God upon the surrendered soul? Sri Chaitanya Mahāprabhu replied, "My dear Vallabha, you're a learned scholar. Kindly listen to me. I'm a sannyasi, Mayavada. Therefore, I have no chance of knowing what Krishna Bhakti is." Now, Mahaprabhu is just playing with him, saying that, "Oh, I'm a Mayavadi. No, I took sannyas from Mayavadi." Who was his sannyas guru? Put in the chat. Was the sannyas guru of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Nevertheless, my mind has become purified because I have a student with Advaita Acharya, who is directly the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is unparalleled in his understanding of all the revealed scriptures and devotional service of Lord Krishna. Therefore, he is called Advaita. Advaita means not different, non-different. Yeah. Keshav Bharati. Good. He is such a great personality that by his mercy, he can convert even the meat eaters, plechas, to the devotional service of Krishna, who therefore can estimate the power of his Vaishnavas. Lord Nityananda Prabhu, the Avatuta, is also directly the Supreme. Now, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is trying to defend himself, saying that I am nothing. Advaita Acharya is great. Nityananda Prabhu is great. He's always intoxicated with the madness of ecstatic love. He's the ocean of love of Krishna. Sarva Bhattacharya perfectly knows the 6 philosophical theses. He's therefore the spiritual master of the entire world and teaches the 6 parts of philosophy. He's the best of devotees. Sarva Bhattacharya has shown me the limit of devotional service. Only by his mercy have I understood that devotional service to Krishna is the essence of all mystic yoga. Sri Ramananda Rai is the ultimate knower of the transcendental mellows of Lord Krishna's devotional service. He has instructed me that Lord Krishna is the Supreme Personality of God. Through the mercy of Ramananda Raya, I have understood that ecstatic love of Krishna is the highest goal of life. What is the highest goal? Ecstatic love of Krishna, Krishna Prema. Prema Prayojana. And that spontaneous love of Krishna is the highest perfection. The servant, friend, superior, and conjugal lover are the shelters of the transcendental mellows, not Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, and Shraddha. There are 2 kinds of emotions of bhava, emotion with an understanding of Lord's full opulence is called Aishwarya Jnana Yukta, and pure uncontaminated emotion is called Kevala. So 2 types are there, Kevala. And one cannot achieve shelter at the lotus feet of Krishna, the son of Nanda Maharaj, simply by knowing this opulence. Just by knowing, we can't get Krishna. The Supreme Personality of Krishna, the son of Mother Yashoda, is accessible to those devotees engaged in spontaneous loving service. But it's not at all easily accessible to mental speculators, to those striving for self-realization by strictly austerities and penances, or to those who consider the body the same as the self. The word Atma Bhuta means personal associates. Through the understanding of Lord's opulence, the goddess of fortune cannot receive the shelter of Krishna, the son of Nanda Maharaj. When Lord Sri Krishna was dancing with the gopis in Rasa Lila, the gopis were embraced around the neck by the Lord's arm. His transcendental favor was never bestowed upon the goddess of fortune, see, or other concerns in spiritual world. Now, Krishna is Mahaprabhu is slowly starting to talk with Venkata Bhatta, because Venkata Bhatta is from Sri Sampradaya. I mean, he used to worship Lakshmi Narayan. So now Krishna is, Mahaprabhu is just slowly saying, see, you worship Lakshmi Narayan and see the gopis. Even the Lakshmi Devi is not so fortunate as the gopis. She's still doing tapasya in one of the forests in Vrindavan, so as to enter into Rasa Lila. Or the other consorts in the spiritual world. Nor was such a thing ever imagined by the most beautiful girls in the heavenly planets. Girls whose bodily lust and aroma resemble the beauty and fragrance of lotus flower. Not to speak of worldly women who may be very, very beautiful according to materialism. In pure Krishna consciousness, a friend mounts the shoulder of Krishna and Mother Yashoda binds the Lord. In pure, that is friend, that is Sakyaras and also Valsalyaras here. Pure Krishna consciousness, without knowledge of the Lord's opulence, devotee considers Krishna as his friend or son. In Vrindavan, Krishna is not God. No, we don't want to reveal also. Therefore, this devotional attitude is praised even by Shukadeva Goswami and Vyasdev, the Supreme Authority. Neither those who are engaged in self-realization, appreciating the Brahman effulgence of the Lord, nor those engaged in devotional service while accepting the Supreme Personality called as the Master, nor those who are under the clutches of Maya, thinking the Lord as ordinary person, can understand that certain exalted personalities, after accumulating all lists of pious activities, are now playing with the Lord in friendship as cowherd boys. This is a sloka from Bhagavatam which says, Krita Punya Puja. ISKCON, Krita Punya Punja. That means this cowherd boys are so fortunate. See, Bhagavatam 10 canto examples. They're so fortunate. It is said that how they are carrying Krishna on the shoulders. They are carried by Krishna. They're so fortunate because they have done so much pious things in their previous life. That's why they are able to play. So this is now playing with the Lord as cowherd boys. So many punya they have accumulated. Otherwise, volumes of pious activities. The punya punja they are called as. When Mother Yashoda saw all the universes within Krishna's mouth, she was astonished for the time being. Lord is worshipped like Indra and other demigods by the followers of three Vedas who offering sacrifice. He is worshipped as the personal Brahman by saintly persons who understand his greatness through studying the Upanishads, as a Purusha by great philosophers and I really study the universe, as an all-pervading super soul by great yogis, and as a supreme personality guarded by devotees. Nevertheless, Mother Yashoda considered the Lord as her own son. Mother Yashoda used to say, Krishna, you eat this or else you will die. Because she doesn't think Krishna is the supreme personality guarded. For her, Krishna is the small baby, a small baby. How a mother feels so, the baby is so dependent on her. Similarly, Yashoda Maya thinks Krishna is so much dependent on her. O Brahmana, what pious activities did Nanda Maharaj perform to receive the supreme personality guarded as his son? And what pious activity did Mother Yashoda perform that made the absolute personality guarded call her mother and suck her breast? Just imagine how fortunate Mother Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj was. Even if a pure devotee sees the opulence of Krishna, he does not accept it. Therefore, pure consciousness is more exalted than consciousness of the Lord's opulence. So, pure means nothing is fixed there. No Aishwarya is fixed. Ramandara is extremely aware of the transcendental mellows. He is insistently absorbed in the happiness of external love of Krishna. It is he who taught me all this. It is impossible to describe the influence and knowledge of Ramandara, for only by his mercy have I understood the unallowed love of the residents of Krishna. So Mahāprabhu is saying that it's Ramananda Rai, the Shaka Siddhi, who taught me this. Hope my voice is clear now. Transcendental of ecstatic love are personified by Swarup Damodar. By his association, I have understood the Vrindavan transcendental mellows of conjugal love. The unallowed love of the gopis and Srimati Radharani is without any trance of material lust. The creation of such transcendental love is only purpose to satisfy Krishna. Oh dearly beloved, your lotus feet are so soft that we place them gently on our breast, fearing that your feet will hurt. Our lives rest only in you. Our minds therefore are filled with anxiety that your tender feet might be wounded by pebbles as you roam about on the forest path. This was the prayers by the gopis. Obsessed with pure love without knowledge of the opulence, the gopis sometimes chastise Krishna. That's a symptom of pure ecstatic love. Chastising Krishna. Nobody can do that except the gopis. Oh dear Krishna, we gopis have neglected the order of our husband, son, family, brothers, and friends, and have left their company to come to you. You know everything about our desires. We have come only because we are attracted by the supreme music of your flute. But you are a great cheater, for who else would give up the company of young girls like us in the dead of the night? As Krishna just went from there. The conjugal love of gopis is the most exalted devotional service. That's Madhurya Ras, surpassing all other methods of bhakti. Therefore, Lord Krishna is obliged to say, my dear gopis, I cannot repay you. Indeed, I am always indebted to you. So this is what Krishna is in depth. Krishna says, how you approach Krishna, Krishna reciprocates the same way. But to the gopis, Krishna could not do anything. He says, I'm always in debt to you. Oh gopis, I'm not able to repay my debt for your spotless service, even within a lifetime of Brahma. Your connection with me is beyond reproach. You have worshipped me, cutting off all the domestic ties, which are difficult to break. Therefore, please let your own glorious deeds be in your compensation. But then Mahāprabhu paid it back, no? How did Mahāprabhu repay the gopis? How did he repay? Krishna could not pay back, but then Mahāprabhu paid it back, reciprocated. How? This is the clue here. This is the clue. Does anyone know? How did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu repay the gopis? No idea? He did this at the age of 24.
He kept away from all the ladies. Mostly.
Sannyasa.
After sannyas.
He took sannyas.
He took sannyas. He went into Grihastha life, and after that Yeah, Lakshmi Mataji, you want to add something?
Hare Krishna Mataji, I may try, I might be wrong. It was like when he would, when the gopis in his, it was in his childhood, when the gopis would bath and everything, he would say, if you don't worship me, then I will curse you, that you will have old people as your husbands and all those. That was something. I
No,
think
that is, yeah. No, that is how Mahaprabhu played with them. I mean, just tricked them. But this is what Mataji said, that he took sannyas, like, see, cutting off domestic ties. See, what did the gopis do? They left all the service to their husbands, children, and all that. They were cutting their domestic ties and came to Krishna. So Krishna could not reciprocate that part. So now, when he came as Mahaprabhu, he entered into Grihastha life so as to come out of it. So as to just give up all that domestic ties with his mother, Sachimata, and his wife, so that he's repaying the gopis in one way. So this is how he repaid the gopis. It's just his pastime, right? His pastime purpose. Mahaprabhu did this. Completely distinct from love of Krishna in opulence, pure love of Krishna is on the highest level. On the surface of the world, there is no devotee greater than Uddhava. Uddhava desires to take on his head the dust of the gopis' lotus feet. I have learned about all these from the loving affairs of Lord Krishna from Sarod Damodar. Actually, Uddhava wanted to become a blade of grass in Vrindavan so that when the gopis go, the dust can be in his head. The gopis of Vrindavan have given up the association of their husbands, sons, and other family members who are very difficult to give up. And they have forsaken the path of chastity to take shelter of the lotus feet of Mukunda Krishna, which one should search for by Vedic knowledge. Oh, let me be fortunate enough to become one of the bushes, creepers, or herbs in Vrindavan. And for the gopis will trample them and bless them with the dust of the lotus feet. So this is what even Brahma prayed. Brahma and Uddhava wanted to become a blade of grass in Vrindavan so that the gopis' dust can be on his head. Haridas Thakur, the teacher of the holy name, is the most exalted of all pure devotees. Every day he chants 3 lakh holy names as the Lord. I have learned about the glories of the Lord's holy name from Haridas Thakur, and by his mercy I have understood all these glories. Acharyatna, Acharya Nidhi, Gadadhar Pandit, Jagadananda, Damodara, Shankara, Vakreshwara, Kashishwara, Mukunda, Vasudeva, Murari, and many other devotees have descended in Bengal to preach to everyone the glories of the holy name of Krishna and value of love for him. I learned from them the meaning of devotion service to Krishna. Knowing that Vallabha Bhatta's heart was full of pride, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu spoke these words, hinting at how one can learn about devotion service. Why Vallabha Bhatta was worshipping Lakshmi Narayan. So he was feeling so much proud that our worship is the great, so much opulence and Aishwarya Bhav. But he was not knowing the Vraja Prema. Vallabha Bhatta was thinking, I'm a great Vaishnava, and having learned all the conclusion of the Vaishnava philosophy, I can understand the meaning of Srimad Bhagavatam and explain it very well. Such pride has existed for a long time within his mind of Vallabha Bhatta. But as he heard the preaching of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his pride was cut down. Now he's like, I'm nothing. In front of Yashoda Maya, Nanda Baba, the gopis, I'm nothing. And he was thinking he knows Bhagavatam. And when some devotee is proud, puffed up, Krishna just takes care of it, because Krishna doesn't like devotees to become proud. When Vallabha Bhatta heard from the mouth of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu about the pure Vaishnavism of all these devotees, he immediately desired to see them. Vallabha Bhatta said, where do all these Vaishnavas live and how can I see them? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied, although some of them live in Bengal and some of them in other states, they have all come here to see the Ratha Yatra festival. At present, they are all living here. Their residents are in various quarters. Here you will get the audience of them all. Thereafter, with great submission and humility, Vallabha Bhatta invited Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to dine at his home. The next day, when all the Vaishnavas came to the abode of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Lord introduced Vallabha Bhatta to them all. He was surprised to see the brilliance of their faces. Indeed, among them, Vallabha Bhatta seemed just like a glowworm. Then Vallabha Bhatta brought in a great quantity of Lord Jagannath's Mahaprasadam and sumptuously fed Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his associates. Sometimes it's a scene. The neophyte devotees, they feel that they know many philosophy, they know everything. But then actually when they meet some exalted Vaishnavas, when they are in devotee association, sadhu sangha, they feel, I am nothing. I thought I was the best. But then now I know there are someone who sings better than me. There is someone who take class better than me. Someone who cooks for the Lord better than me. No, so all these, someone dresses the Lord better than me. So when it's like that, Vallabha was feeling proud first, but then when in front of everyone, he was like a glowworm. Then Vallabha brought in great quantity of Lord Jagannath's Mahaprasada and sumptuously fed Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his associates. All the sannyasi associates of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, headed by Paramananda Puri, sat on one side and thus partook of the prasadam. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sat in the midst of the devotees. Advaitacharya and Lord Nityananda each sat on one side of the Lord, and the other devotees sat in front of the Lord and behind him. The devotees from Bengal, who I'm unable to count, all sat down in lines in the courtyard. When Vallabha saw all the devotees of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was greatly surprised, and in devotion he offered his obeisances at the lotus feet of each and every one of them. Swarup, Damodar, Jagadananda, Kashishwara and Shankara, along with Raghava and Damodar Pandit, took charge of distributing the prasadam. Vallabha had brought a large quantity of Mahaprasadam offered to Lord Jagannath. As all the sannyasis sat down to eat with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Accepting the prasadam, all Vaishnavas chanted the holy name Hari Hari. Rising vibration of the holy name of Hari filled the entire universe. When all the Vaishnavas had finished eating, Vallabha brought a large quantity of garlands, sandalwood, pulp, spices, and betel. He worshipped the devotees very respectfully and became extremely happy. On the day of a car festival, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu began the congregational chanting. As he had done previously, he divided all the devotees into 7 groups. 7 devotees, Advaita, Nityananda, Haridas Thakur, Vakreshwara, Srivas Thakur, Raghav Pandit, and Gadadhar Pandit, formed 7 groups and began dancing. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu chanting Hari Bol wandered from one group to another. The 14 mridangas resounded with a loud congregational chanting, and in each group was a dancer who danced in ecstatic love, inundated the entire world. Seeing all this, Vallabha was completely astonished. He is overwhelmed by transcendental bliss and lost himself. Then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stopped the dancing of others as he had done previously, and he personally began to dance. Seeing the beauty of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the awakening of his ecstatic love, Vallabha concluded, here is Lord Krishna without a doubt. Thus Vallabha witnessed a car festival. He was simply astonished by the characteristics of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. One day, after the festival was over, Vallabha went to the abode of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and submitted a request at the lotus feet of the Lord. I have written some commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam, he said. Would your lordship kindly hear it? Lord replied, I do not understand the meaning of Srimad Bhagavatam. Indeed, I am not a suitable person to hear its meaning. I simply sit and try to chant the holy name of Krishna. And although I chant all day and night, I nevertheless cannot complete the chanting of my prescribed number of rounds. But why is Mahaprabhu saying that I do not understand the meaning of Srimad Bhagavatam? Why is Mahaprabhu saying this? Yes?
Bhagavatam is about Krishna and Krishna doesn't know about himself.
Yes, that's one thing. Another thing is
Krishna. Mataji wants to listen here from his own devotee.
Devotees. He wanted to hear from his devotees. Yes. Then
Mataji, he also wanted to cut down the pride of Vallabha. He wanted to cut down the pride because he still had that pride.
yeah, and yes. So he still had a little bit of pride that my commentaries of Srimad Bhagavatam is greater than greater, and that is on another thing. Okay, so and also his guru Ishwara Puri have said, your fool number 1, just sit and chant Hare Krishna, don't study all the Vedanta Sutras, right? Just a pastime purpose, but then that's what. So Vallabha said, I have tried to describe elaborately the meaning of Lord Krishna's holy name. Kindly hear the explanation. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied, I do not accept many different meanings of the holy name of Krishna. I know only the Lord Krishna is Shyama Sundara and Yashodanandana. That's all I know. The only purport of the holy name of Krishna is that he's dark blue like Tamal tree and is the son of Mother Yashoda. That is the conclusion of all revealed scriptures. I conclusively know that these 2 names, Shyam Sundara and Yashodanandan, I do not understand any other meaning, nor I have the capacity to understand them. Being omniscient, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could understand that Vallabha's explanation of Krishna's name and Srimad Bhagavatam were useless. Therefore, he did not care about them. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu rigidly declined to hear his explanation, Vallabha went home feeling morose. His faith in the Lord and devotion to him changed. Thereafter, see, that should not happen, no? He got changed. Thereafter, Vallabha went to the home of Gadadhar Pandit. He kept coming and going and showing affection in various ways and thus maintained a relationship with him. Because Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not take Vallabha very seriously, none of the people in Jagannath Puri would hear any of his explanation. Ashamed, insulted, and unhappy, Vallabha went to Gadadhar Pandit. Approaching him with great humility, Vallabha said, I have taken shelter of you, my dear sir. Kindly be merciful to me and save my life. Please hear my explanation of the meaning of Lord Krishna's name. In that way, the mud of the shame that has come upon me will be washed off. This Pandit Goshai fell into a dilemma. He was in such a doubt that he could not decide alone what to do. Although Gadadhar Pandit Goshani did not want to hear it, Vallabha began to read his explanation with great force. Because Vallabha was a learned Brahmana, Gadadhar Pandit could not forbid him. Thus he began to think of Lord Krishna. My dear Lord Krishna, he requested, please protect me in this danger. I have taken shelter of you. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is present in everyone's heart, and he will certainly know my mind. Therefore, I do not fear him. His associates, however, are extremely critical. Although Gadadhar Pandit Goshani was not in the least at fault, some of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's devotees showed affectionate anger towards him. Every day, Vallabha would come to the place of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to engage in unnecessary arguments with Advaitacharya and other great personalities such as Swarup Damodar. Whatever conclusion Vallabha eagerly presented were refuted by personalities like Advaitacharya. Whenever Vallabha entered the society of devotees headed by Advaitacharya, he was like a duck in the society of white swans. One day, Vallabha said to Advaitacharya, every living entity is female, Prakriti, and considers Krishna as a husband, Pati. It is the duty of the chaste wife devoted to her husband not to utter her husband's name, but all of you chant the name of Krishna. How can this be called a religious principle? You got it? So everyone's like, we are all Prakriti. Purusha is only Krishna, and that's our husband. Now, how do you chant husband's name? Advaitacharya responded, in front of you is Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the personification of religious principles. You should ask him. He will give you the proper answer. Hearing this, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, my dear Vallabha Bhaṭṭa, you do not know the religious principles. Actually, the first duty of a chaste woman is to carry out the order of a husband. Now, what was the order of Krishna? The order of Krishna is to chant his name insistently. Satatam kirtayando mam, Krishna says. Therefore, one who is chaste and adherent to the husband, Krishna, must chant the Lord's name, for she cannot deny the husband's order. That's true, no? So that was the order of Krishna. Even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also ordered Kirtaniya Sadahari. Patira Ajna Nirantara Tangra Nama Lai Ite Patira Ajna Pativrata Na Parelangi Ke. So Krishna's order is the order of the husband is to chant his name. So a chaste wife has to chant, no? So that's the order of the Krishna, to insistently chant. But she cannot deny the order of husband's order. Following this religious principle, a pure devotee of Lord Krishna always chants the holy name. As a result of this, he gets the fruit of ecstatic love for Krishna. When he chants the holy name, Atevana Malaya Namere Fale Paya Namera Fale Krishna Pade Prema Ubajaya. So Nirantara Namalaya Paya Prema then. So if we chant the holy name without offense, then we get ecstatic love for Krishna. So you got it? So when Vallabha is asking, how come we are all Prakriti, material nature, and Stree or female, how we are chanting, Krishna is our only husband, Pati, how we are just taking Pati's name, you should not, out of respect, take. But then Mahaprabhu says, yes, but you should carry out his order as a chaste wife, is to carry out the order of your husband, and he's saying, always chant the holy name. So Krishna also orders us to chant the holy name incessantly. Mahaprabhu also says to chant the holy name. So that's why always chanting the holy name is important. And pure devotee of Lord Krishna always chant the holy name. Because a pure devotee will chant Shuddhanam. A pure devotee will never chant Nama Parath, right? So a pure devotee always chant the holy name in Shuddhanam. And that's why he'll get ecstatic love for Krishna. That's the ultimate goal of life, to get pure love of Godhead. We'll stop here. We'll continue tomorrow. By the way, tomorrow is Ekadashi, right? And this time Ekadashi breaking, you should be very careful. It was just 2 hours. So those who break after 10 o'clock should be very careful. It is just from 6:35 to 8:10 in Mangalore. Check in your places. Mostly it's about before 8. So at least if rice or chapatis are not ready, at least take some chip rice, poha or something, puffed rice, just put it on your mouth. And you can break, have some grains before 8 o'clock. And then you can make your original boga. Just some devotees, they offer fruits, bananas with poha to the Lord, and then just have it. Okay, Hare Krishna. Any questions? Yes, Suresh Prabhu.